Hey everyone, I'm back with another Etali video. In my last video covering this commander, I had said something that seemed to really resound with some people in the comment section. Its initial ETB effect is the more traditional Etali thief ability, but who really cares? If you really want to build around that effect, just use the old Etali who's much better at it anyway. So I didn't really elaborate on why I thought this. I sort of just moved on and jumped right into talking about ramping out of control. I think the new Etali's ETB ability is way better than the old one. I mean, it is strictly better, right? Specifically because it doesn't hit lands. The reason I had said the old Etali was better was because I normally don't associate Gruul with abusing ETB effects. There are ETB loops like Squee and abusing Perforos, but normally you don't flicker things and abuse ETB triggers like that archetype typically does. So my thought was that the old Etali was better, as you would be able to get the trigger more often even though it's an attack trigger. Red is more associated with extra combat steps, and it's a reusable ability to start with. I sort of viewed this as a quantity versus quality thing, and normally in Magic, quantity is better. I've played and faced against clone decks in the past, but normally that's an Izzet or Simic thing, and isn't something I normally see in Gruul. I'm sure Gruul clone decks exist, but I wouldn't say that color pair is really known for it. Red is probably my weakest color, and it's the one I've played the least. When I think of clone effects, I normally think blue, but there are quite a few we could use here. I read some of the comments, thought about it, and reconsidered my approach to Etali. I think you guys are right. We don't care about the token copies dying to the legend role because we'll still be getting their ETB effects. Taking that into account, in addition to all the niche ETB utility cards that are available to all colors like Panharmonicon, really makes the front side more viable than I previously thought. I sort of viewed it as a nice utility thief effect that they tuned up so you got more value while you worked towards Blightsteel. I hadn't considered the niche ways we could abuse it. To the people in the comments who took the time to explain the use case for the front side in a constructive criticism way, thank you for the comment and for watching. Also, thanks for being chill about it. So, let's revisit Etali. Though, real quick, if we're focusing on the thief ability, there isn't a ton of main or alternate win conditions. We're sort of assembling one on the fly with our opponent's cards. Though the flip side of Etali is still good as a backup plan we can use, so it's kind of a moot point. I think including Hellkite Tyrant would be a good idea as an alternate win condition though. Artifacts have gotten a lot of support recently and are pretty common to see at the table. Between your own and the ones you steal, I think this creature has some good potential. For our main strategy, let's get some of the classics out of the way with Conjurer's Closet and Panharmonicon. These are longtime staples for decks that want to abuse ETB effects in various ways. Some equipment we could run are Helm of the Host, Blade of Cells, and Sword of Hearth and Home. A quick rules point, if we clone Etali with the Helm, we can't flip those copies. It copies whatever side is currently face up and doesn't have the information for the backside. At least that's how I understand the interaction. The sword is ramp and a flicker effect to help keep triggering Etali. It does give pro green, so keep that in mind. There are some single target protection effects in green like Tamiyo's Safekeeping that you won't be able to use while Etali has this equipped. Some cards that were suggested were Heat Shimmer and Hellkite Courser. The dragon I didn't know existed until maybe a week ago. It's pretty cool in this deck specifically. It's also an ETB we can abuse with our other utility cards. Being non-legendary, it's something we can clone and the token will stick around for some damage value. For the clone effects, I was surprised at how many there were. When writing the script for the last video, the clone effects I could think of for red were like Kiki-Jiki and the Saga of Kiki-Jiki, but those don't work with Etali. They work with the dragon but not our commander because it has to be a non-legendary creature. So when I went to research this a bit more, it was pretty surprising just how many copy cards existed. We talked about Heat Shimmer, but Twin Flame, Mirror March, and Splinter Twin are some bombs to copy things. Mirror March is pretty random, but being an ETB ability itself synergizes with our other utility cards I mentioned before. Splinter Twin is an enchantment I totally forgot about. It combos with basically any creature that can untap things on ETB. I can't think of any in Gruul, but basically if the copied creature untaps something on ETB, it can untap the enchanted creature. Then you make another copy and repeat. You'll have infinite hasted creatures this way. I can't think of a creature that would combo with this card we could add to the 99, but we could steal something that can. It's just good to keep that in mind. Twin Flame is just cheap, and it's flexible to copy additional things if we want. There are a few creatures we can also clone things with. Jaxus, Deanna, and Flame Rush Rider are some examples. They have their own twist on how they go about copying things, but the important thing is that we get more ETB triggers from Etali. We have to discard things with Jaxus to utilize that copy effect, but it doesn't matter too much as we'll replace the card when the token dies. Another creature is Riona, who can be somewhat explosive. It depends on how many instant and sorceries we've cast this turn. Our ramp spells like Cultivate or draw cards like Thrill of Possibilities will help feed this effect. Etali itself can also feed this effect if we happen to hit some from our opponents before combat. Outside of the copy effects, there's a little bit of utility we could add that synergizes with the specific way we steal things in this deck. For example, our Keeper of Secrets, Faldorn, and Nelfinchi, I think that's how you pronounce this card. Etali will trigger all these effects as we're stealing things and casting them from exile. The Beast will straight up copy those cards. Keeper of Secrets will burn down our opponents. Faldorn will give us a bunch of token wolves. Just making 2/2 wolves seems a bit lackluster, but if our Etali value engine is operating as planned, it'll be like a wolf machine gun populating the battlefield. It's safe to assume that every trigger will be making 3 wolves, and that's a lot of versatility for attackers and blockers. I think it's important to admit when you've made a mistake or defend your position if you think you're right. Debating can be fun, and talking through strategies I think helps us all become better Magic players. That's part of the reason I make these videos. It helps me become a better player and branch into archetypes I probably wouldn't have tried otherwise. While I'm at it, hopefully I'll help others with their strategies and help others become better Magic players as well. Normally when I make a mistake in a video that someone points out in the comments, I double check it. If the correction is valid, I'll pin the comment so hopefully other players can see the correction. In this case, it was definitely an oversight on a playstyle I'm not super familiar with a color I'm least familiar with. I think it deserved a follow-up video to sort of set the record straight. I'll always encourage viewers to voice their opinions in the comments, what cards they think work or don't. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, good luck, and have fun.